Hi, welcome to Gardening Through the Season. My name is Keith Crouse, the coordinator of the Soil Testing Lab at Mississippi State. Previously on Gardening Through the Season, we talked about how to take a soil sample. Once you've taken the soil sample and you submitted the soil sample to the Soil Testing Lab, within 3 to 4 days you should receive your soil report. And today we want to talk about the soil report. First thing that you would notice about the soil report would be that at the top it's got our address, and of course it also has the county listed. This particular report is for a home vegetable garden. As you can look at the report, the first thing you'll notice it says the laboratory results, and it starts out with soil pH. A soil pH is 6.3. A soil pH is probably one of the more, if not the most important test, one of the important tests, because most of your plants in a soil environment likes a pH somewhere between 5.8 to 7, except with the exception of our acid-loving plants such as azaleas, other trees and shrubs, maybe blueberries. We also have a few turfs like centipede does not like it likes an acid environment. As you can see here, this pH is 6.3, and once you see the pH, if you go down through the report, down here it says your soil test indicated, and the pH is going to say slightly acid. As you can see here on this report, it's calling for no lime because the pH is at 6.3. The next thing about a soil report, if you look at it, you'll see the phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, zinc, calcium, and we also do total soluble salts for home horticulture crops. The number as far as for the phosphorus, potassium, and the elements, etc., is not really that important as much as the indices that the number represents. We have 5 indices in the soil testing lab. We have very low, low, medium, high, and very high. If you have an indice of high or very high, it's very unlikely that you would see a response to fertilizer if you applied fertilizers, unless it was under some kind of stress condition. Medium means that we need to apply some fertilizer because of the fact that you would see a response under normal conditions. Low, you certainly would see a response, and very low, if you did not apply fertilizer to a very low testing soil, there's a good probability that plants may actually die because of the lack of fertilizer. The soluble salts is an indication of how much fertilizers we've been applying in the past. Generally speaking, on a soluble salt reading, we'd like this reading to be low, and certainly with this reading being low, that's an indication that we've not been over applying fertilizer. It's not an indication that we need to apply more fertilizer. But if you go on down the report, you come down there and it says the next thing after we go through the soil test level, the pH, and whether the thing calls for lime or not for lime, we come into the next part of the report, and it talks about the recommendations. Our recommendations on a homeowner horticulture type report is based on pounds per 1,000 square feet. And underneath that we have approximate dates of when to apply the fertilizer. This particular report is a home vegetable garden, and we have pre-plant and we also have side dress. I would also pay attention to the comment section, because the comment sections is very important in giving us any kind of specific instructions. And for instance, on this particular report, it talks about not to apply fertilizer on sweet potatoes or potatoes. It also talks about a certain pH for these particular crops. It talks about the possibility if you wanted maybe to ban the fertilizer instead of broadcast. As you come on down into the report, at the bottom it's got the local county extension office, and it also has a phone number. If you have questions about any of these reports, certainly feel free to call that number. For more information on how to interpret your soil test report, we have a publication called Interpreting soil testing laboratory results for vegetable crops. I'm Keith Crouse, coordinator of the Soil Testing Extension Lab. This has been Gardening Through the Season.